Hi everyone, I'm Kaan. Today we are going to have a chit chat with Alisa. It's gonna be like TeaTalk. So I would like to show her first, and she's on the way. She's coming right now. He just texted me like, open the door. Alisa, move! Coming. Welcome. So this is our content, and you have to drink Russian tea. It's Russian Earl Grey.
Cheers.
Na zdrowie. So hi everyone. Today we are with Alisa, and I don't know what to say. So it's gonna be just like chill tea talk. Welcome.
Thank you. I was waiting for this.
For a long time.
Thank you for tea.
Thank you for coming. So it's your first time in this channel, and none of my friends know about you. So would you like to introduce yourself to my friends?
No.
Then it's just the end of the video, guys. See you in another YouTube video.
Okay, I'm Alisa. I'm a second year student. So it's my second year of masters, and Khan is dying.
Yeah,
It is
sorry.
too funny for him. Hi everyone, my name is Alisa. I'm from Russia, and this is my second year of this masters. I pursue what is my track?
Visual AI.
Visual AI, yes, in Khan. I
You're
forgot.
welcome.
So we met in Sweden and we became friends, and Khan asked me if I want to be interviewed about my experience of EMJM. So I had 1 year in Italy before. I started my master's in Italy, and now I'm in Sweden for the last year. So I have something to talk about.
So we're in the same program, but in the different track. I'm in the
Yeah.
immersive imaging track, and she's in the visual AI track.
But we have similar professors, and
Yeah,
overall
and
stuff is
some
the
courses
same.
are in common.
Yeah.
So how many programs did you apply for before accepting this offer?
Okay, I applied for 5 programs.
Five Erasmus Mundus
Yeah,
programs?
5 Erasmus Mundus programs, because I really wanted to go to some Erasmus program, and I applied to AI programs like
Erasmus Mundus
APCV,
IPCV AI.
IPCV, Maritime Intelligent Robotics, IFROS, and Cyberus, about cybersecurity. And I was rejected for cybersecurity, and I was rejected for IFROS. But I was in the waiting list, in the short list for other 2 programs. And from EMJM and Imagine, I received the answer really, really late. Like, I received it at the beginning of June, but they were supposed to send it at the beginning of May. So I already thought, okay, this they will never answer, or they just rejected me without any answer. And I already wanted to go, like, to apply for some program in New Zealand.
New Zealand?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I wanted to study in New Zealand as well. I fell in love with this country, and there was some program with Russia and New Zealand. I would have to pay all my money. It was really, really expensive, but like, we could manage it.
So what do you think what was the like strongest point that make you stand out with the other among the other applicants?
This is hard. Like, there are several things. I have a high GPA. It's like above 8.5 or around 8.5 over 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm from the top-ranking university in Russia. It is MIPT, Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology. And I was graduated with honors, but when I applied for the program, I didn't have my bachelor's degree yet, so they didn't know. And also I had 2.5 years of experience of work in the field of computer vision.
Is that as a teaching assistant, research assistant at the university?
I'm a technician. It is called technician, so I was just writing some code and stuff. But I also had teaching experience for 2 years as a lecturer of algorithms and data structures.
But that was at the university?
Yeah, I worked in the university. I did everything in the university. So I had a job in the university as a technician, and another job as a lecturer. And I also gave a course, like seminars for machine learning course, something like this, or computer vision. So I was teaching my my group mates.
So it shows you have the enough background for this program, I guess.
Yeah. I had enough background for computer vision program, and I think that's why they chose me, because I was perfect match, I think. But cybersecurity rejected me. I was so sad, because they wrote that anyone can apply with any kind of experience in computer science, and women are welcomed. So I was like, oh, I'm a perfect match, and they just rejected me. They said, no, you don't have enough experience.
But you got a scholarship from other programs, so you're lucky.
I dreamed a bit. And
but did you write in a structural way?
Yeah.
Like how your background matches with the program?
Yeah. And I also, the funny thing which I did, I was trying to find information about professors. So because in some YouTube videos they said, oh, you need to prove that you are interested in this program, and you need to write something like, oh, I would like to work with this professor because he has these publications. So I searched all the professors which we had, and I wrote something about like our Swedish and Italian professors. I found their publications, and I just searched with keywords like computer vision, something like this, and they said, oh, this professor has this publication. And it is really like, it is so much connected with what I want to do.
Okay.
So he is I want to make physics with him. So I wrote this. Actually, 1 year later, when I was looking at my motivation letter, it was so fun to see what I wrote there. But it actually, in some ways, came true because I met all those people, and they're really nice.
Okay, so nice to hear.
Yeah.
Then how was the EMJM program? How was it going so far? Are you happy? So you already finished your first year and you are almost in the end of second year.
Yeah.
You're gonna defend your thesis. How's it going so far?
Right now I would say I feel a little bit bored because I don't have any classes, and in Russia I used to have a lot of lectures every day, and I was always working. But I think it is also kind of in my character, to work all the time, to not rest.
You were even working in the weekend, I guess.
Yeah,
in Russia.
Yeah. So, and I really liked it, but you cannot survive living like this all the time. And now in Sweden, I have all the time of my life to understand how should I live this life better, because now I have plenty of time. Right now, this is the second half of the second year, and I don't have any classes. I only have to write my master thesis, and I do it in a company, but online. So I don't even have to go to the office. There is no office of the company. So I do it from home. At the beginning, I felt really bored and why nothing happens? I just sit in my room and I just write physics all the time, and it feels not nice. But at some point I started trying to figure out what else can I do, what do I like, what would I like to do, and I think it is really helpful because I have time, I have enough money because they pay me scholarship, I do master thesis, so it is.
So do you like the work-life balance in Sweden?
My inner part, my soul would say no, because my soul wants to work all the time and be productive, but my brain says that being productive is not what will make me happy.
By the way, she's one of the most hardworking person I have ever seen. So that's so great in the world. Yeah, I mean.
My professor in MIPT once said, it was physics professor, and I didn't know physics at all. And I started learning, and he helped me a lot. He explained me everything. And at the end of education, of bachelor's, he said, if everyone were like you, we would be Japan. We would live like in Japan. but now I'm not like
in another universe.
Yeah, it would be Japan.
So you said so many things about having free time for yourself. Did you find any hobbies it suits with your personality? Some winter sports, for example. Do you live in Sweden?
We tried to do cross-country skiing with you, but I'm not a sporty person. Me and sport is two different universes, so I don't really like it. And I liked it when we did it, but I couldn't do it by my own every day. It was too hard.
Yeah, but she's saying this, but she was so encouraging me to go out and try to cross-country skiing. So I'm so proud of
Yeah.
you. And we did the cross-country skiing. It was so fun for me, at least. And we were around the lake, and it was so nice, especially in the winter,
It was so dark and cold.
as Sweden usually is.
So dark and cold and scary. Once I went cross-country skiing like at 6 p.m. and it was winter and it was really dark and I was alone around the lake skiing.
Now, usually there is no one. She's right, so.
And I was trying to go home as fast as I could. But like the thing which I really like to do is like making barbecues, making fire. So like in winter I used to go out to the lake and I made fire and I tried to start it with magnesium stick as they taught us in Lapland. So I have this magnesium stick and like a little stuff which you can do.
Make a fire.
Yeah, so I did it. I really like doing this.
Then how was your experience compared to your experience in Italy?
Oh, in Italy it was completely different. Like
Because
in
you,
which
like Milan?
Yeah, but what?
Like how was the social life? Like how
social life in Italy was horrible because there were hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And 95% of them were Italian people. And Italian people, they are always in the Italian group.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know why, but that's how it goes. Here and there, it was impossible to find any friends from Italian guys. And I had some friends which were also foreigners. And it was overall hard. We gathered in my apartment just like once or twice, so it was.
But it was also the reason that it was a huge city, so you lived far from each other.
Away.
So
yeah, some guys like lived outside of Milan because they were like native. They were not Italian. They were like immigrants, which became our friends. But they lived outside Milan.
Yeah, it might be the accommodation might be expensive.
And also we had so many classes. We had to study a lot.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have time in Italy. Like I remember on Wednesdays I had 5 classes, and I came at 8 and I went home at 6. So I spent whole day in the university and all the classes were so hard, so it was so exhausting.
Was it like more theory focused, or like did you have any practical sessions?
No,
with the
it
theory
was nice. It was theory and practice
together.
It was balanced. Yeah. It was really
And what
nice.
about Sweden? How was education in Sweden compared to Italy and Russia?
It is totally like I would say that in Russia, in my university, education was similar to Italian one. In Italy, I studied in Politecnico di Milano, and it is, I think, one of the top
university in Europe.
Yeah, they say it at least. But when I searched for it like in the internet, so I was accepted to the program, and I was so happy, and I was like, but what is the rank of the universities? And I googled Polimi, and it wasn't in the rank of Italian universities. So I thought, okay, Polimi is like not the best, but they say that this is. But I haven't found it. I don't know.
In the QS ranking system on the website, they have it.
On random website.
No, guys, okay.
I didn't.
So there are 2 and 3 different websites that you have to check every time. If you want to see the ranking of the university, they update every time. One is the QS ranking, the other one is Times Higher Education.
Can we put, will put here my Russian, Italian and Swedish university
ranking?
Yes.
Okay, but we might not have Mid Sweden University, but it might be like over than 1,000, because I checked also.
Okay.
But I will put it.
Okay, Italy and Russia the same, I would say. I would say in Italy it was more like in Russia we have the majority of professors are old and they kind of closed, like because we Russian are like cold people. Yeah, we don't like to talk too much.
No.
I'm an exception. But overall, they are so like close.
I have Russian friends in Ankara, and they are so friendly. I never had any problems with the Russians.
But you don't know 60 years old Russians, so they are our professors usually. Don't know. Okay. It's like that. Okay. And in Italy, the culture is totally different. They talk so much. They are so funny, and like I felt like they really, like, they want to know me, they want to teach me. Like, I felt more connection. In Russia, the connection was like with just few of the lecturers. But here it was all of them were so nice, and wow, I really loved going to the university.
It might be because of like if you will study in KTH in Stockholm, so it's like one of the best universities in Sweden, then you might have less probability to see the professors on their own office, because you usually see the PhD students who are giving the lectures, but not the professors, because they are kind of reserved and they have to publish some papers. But in Mid-Sweden University, they have less students, so they can be in touch with you more compared to other big universities, I guess. So it might be not related to country-wise, but also the like university itself.
Yeah. And here in Mid-Sweden University, it is totally different from both Italy and Russia. So here, just maybe it is only about our university, but we have like, I don't know, the whole week I had like 5 classes per week, something like that. Like when I came here to Sweden, I was impressed by the amount of classes, because it was so low compared to Italy and Russia, and I couldn't believe it. Like I was like, what? I have 1 lecture on Monday, 1 lecture on Wednesday, and 2 lectures on Thursday, and that's all. And I don't like it because I like to be in the university. I like to go to lectures, to study, to communicate with professors. I really love it. And when I have only 1 lecture every 2 days, for me it is so strange. I wasn't used to it. But yeah, and we have so small group here. we are 5 people
in the class.
Yeah, and in Polimi we were like 200 people. Yeah. So it was much more like dynamic.
So you didn't have any expectations?
So I didn't have any expectations. I just wanted to travel the world to learn new languages and get paid for this. This was my motivation. Like I really like. I didn't travel a lot with my parents. Like we just went to Asian countries, and I really wanted to go to Europe and see how people live here. So. And I always wanted to study abroad because it was just fun for me. Like I was thinking, okay, I want to do this in my life.
Just another experience, why not?
Yeah, and since I already, like in Russia, I moved like 6,000 kilometers from my parents to the university. So I'm from far east of Russia, from the small island near Japan, which is called Sakhalin.
I will put a photo of Sakhalin with the geography.
Yeah, and the distance between Sakhalin and my university is like 6,500 kilometers. So it was okay for me to move. I was already used to moving, so I wanted to study abroad as well. So
it was not your first time in abroad because you were traveling with your parents, but you wanted to.
Yeah, I wanted to live abroad, like. To study
for
abroad.
A certain amount of time.
Yeah. And that was all. Like I didn't have any expectations from the program in terms of courses and like university ranking, anything like this. I just checked, okay, it is Italy and Sweden, so I will travel around Italy and I will travel around Sweden.
Then
fine.
How about learning languages? How about your Italian or Swedish?
It didn't turn out as I wanted to. So I didn't learn Italian or Swedish. Like I know some.
But you're learning Spanish at least.
Yeah, I learned Spanish, and here are so many Spanish-speaking people. So I improved my Spanish because sometimes I speak with them, but I don't have any level of Italian or Swedish.
Maybe you might know the basics, like hello.
I forgot everything in Swedish, in Swedish, but I remember something in Italian because it is so similar to Spanish, and I tried to study Italian more, and it is more easy for me than Swedish. Swedish is completely different universe. Like they have different vowels. You need to learn how to pronounce all this.
It's more Germanic.
Yeah, and in Russian we don't have these vowels and these letters. But Italian letters and vowels were kind of similar, so it was easy just to learn words. But here, when I see the word, in Swedish I have no idea how to pronounce it. It can be anything.
Do you think you will not continue PhD or?
I want to go to PhD, but not right after master's program. And I don't know where, so it is not decided yet. Maybe I will find something like this master's where I will have to study in different countries, but I'm not sure that I can do it again because it is actually hard to move from country to country.
By the way, I forgot to ask. So you never had any Erasmus experience before this Erasmus Mundus?
No, never.
Okay.
Never.
So you didn't also have any other like international collaborations, sharing the project?
No, it was my first time ever like speaking to foreigners, being in the other
because
culture.
When I see the other classmates, we almost everyone had the Erasmus experience before, and it was kind of different your story. So I just wanted to add. So you haven't decided yet about the PhD, which country to pursue?
I want to do it sometime in my life. Maybe, I don't know, it doesn't have to be next year or in 2 years or in 5 years. Just once I want to do this.
But it's a must for you.
Yeah, I really want to. It's like one of my goals. But in Sweden, the life is completely different. It's not like what I like, but it is more healthy for me. So I have to choose Swedish way of living, but I need to grow up a bit, and I need to accept that Swedish way of living is better.
Do you remember the word that we learned?
Lagom. We never learned it. It's just a word from books, but Swedish people never say it. They always say fika.
Do you like fika culture?
But we have the same in Russia. We also
have like we have the Turkish coffee famous.
Yeah, they just named it fika.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But we always drink tea and eat pastries so sweet. So I like it, but they just called it. They just made the word.
Great. So another question: do you think that the scholarship payment is enough for living expenses?
Yeah. Since I'm Russian, I'm not used to being paid in euros. This was nice. And 1,400 euro. Can I spoil?
Yeah, I already said.
I spoiled it. It is enough. Maybe like in Milan, it is enough for both Milan and Sundsvall. But in Sundsvall, I can buy more things. I can do more stuff which I'm interested in. Here I just pay 400 euro for accommodation.
Yeah, maybe you were paying more for
in Milan I paid like 800.
800?
Yeah, I paid for electricity and gas, and it was so expensive there. And we paid a lot. But there food was cheaper.
And were you sharing the apartment with someone there?
Yeah, I was living with my friend. We shared apartment. And since it was an apartment, we paid a lot for the apartment. It was like 1,600 just for rent, and we also paid for electricity and gas.
Did you pay for deposit also?
Yeah,
so
3,000.
It's better to have some saving before you.
Yeah. When we went to Italy, we didn't have any scholarship, and also since it was the first year of the program, they kind of started from scratch. So we had our scholarship delayed by 1 month. So that time we lived for our own savings.
So wait, you started your education in the beginning of September?
16th of September.
16th of, and when did you receive the scholarship? At the end of October or
Yeah,
September?
I think it was like end of October.
It must be challenging for you to adapt the culture.
Yeah, I was like, okay, they scammed us. They will never send us scholarship. And I was like, okay, what should we do? But they sent it. And now they send it actually like 2 days before the deadline.
Yeah, I'm so happy with that.
Yeah, I was so surprised. Like if 31st will be Monday, they would send it on Friday. So
great.
Yeah, nice.
I was also thinking if they make the payment on time or late, did I get scammed? Or I was also kind of worried. But when I see the first year students, they are getting payment, and I was kind of relaxed after I see you and talk to you. So it was nice.
Yeah. So overall, 1,400 is enough. But in Milan, you would pay twice more for accommodation, but twice less for food. So I think it is the same. Here food is so expensive, and in Italy it was like €2 for grapes.
Like wine, red wine.
Yeah, not wine, not that, but
You said grapes.
but wine. Okay, I don't know English.
No, maybe I don't know.
Vinograd.
You just said Russian. Okay, we can just cut. Or do you want to say
No,
it?
this one is good.
Okay.
Grapes.
Okay, you make the wine from the grapes?
Yeah, so grapes.
Yeah, okay.
In Italy it was like €1 or €2.
Only the grapes itself?
Yeah,
Okay.
and here it's like €4, €3.
Usually people compare the price of meat, not the grape.
Actually, I don't remember the price. I don't eat meat here, I eat fish here. And I think fish here should be less expensive than
less
in Italy.
expensive. And it's also healthy.
Yeah.
And what about our trip to Lapland?
Oh, it was so nice. It was chill. It was perfect chill. So we went in Sweden. So how we became friends with Khan. We went in Sweden. Is it a spoiler?
No, but yeah, we can just talk about it. We can talk. Sorry, we can talk about the.
We went to Lapland together with 3 more guys, and we became friends. And I found Laura and Peter, and I was like.
But first we had the Maria. At least.
No, I think Laura and Peter, and after that I found Maria, and after that we found you.
Yeah.
And we were together, and it was so nice. You turned out to be so nice people, and I really loved it. And now we are friends, and yeah. And
it was also so nice experience for me, and I'm happy to be in that adventure with you guys.
Yeah, we were lucky to find each other. I think so. We really matched.
And we were sharing the same cabinet.
Yeah, and we played Yahtzee. We played Yahtzee all the time.
We did the ice bathing.
We did everything. Ice bathing, sliding.
We saw the aurora.
Yeah, after that, you cannot not become friends. You will become friends. After you saw aurora, you did ice bathing, you jumped into snow together, you screamed at each other because it was so emotional sometimes. So it was nice.
Like, what do you think about the diversity of the program among the selected students? Like diversity of
it is kind of strange because they took 2 Russian people, they took 2 Mexican people, they took brothers from Colombia. So they kind of picked like people who are close to each other. I don't know, but we have people from all over the world. Like we have people from Latin America. Like we have one Vietnamese guy.
Yes.
Like they are all over the world.
Among these students, which countries like a culture feels so close to you, and people from which countries is easy for you to make some close friends?
Turkey. And also Italian, Belarusian, Slovakian, Hungarian.
I wanted to hear this. Yeah, thank you.
Turkey is so nice country. You're so welcome, and it is so easy to be friends with you.
Also Russians.
Yeah.
But you didn't have any problems with the health insurance, everything worked for you?
In Italy, no, but in Sweden, I had to change my accommodation because in my first dormitory, it was really bad for me. I lived on the ground floor, and I was scared to live on the ground floor because people can see you, and I had really noisy neighbors, so I changed my accommodation to the best place in the world. Yeah, and it was kind of stressful, and also I had some health problems, and I had to go to the doctor to check my ears, and it is so expensive. I paid like €140.
And it was not in Sundsvall, it was in another city.
It was in another city because in Sundsvall they don't have that good health system. So I went to a clinic.
I don't have any comments about it.
I went to a specialized clinic.
Yeah.
They spoke English. By the way, here in Sweden, everyone speaks English.
They speak very well.
Yeah.
And they are saying, "Oh, sorry about my English," and they speak better than you.
Yeah.
In Italy, they shout that in Italian,
Yeah. But here, and I checked our insurance, and it works. So, I applied for the refund for those €140.
Did you pay for your insurance, or it was paid for
from the program? So I didn't pay for my insurance, and they paid me back.
That's a nice benefit of the program.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I got my money back after 1.5 months. I was surprised. I have a video about it.
Yeah, it's on Alisa's YouTube channel, so we
We
will
will
add it in
leave
the
a
comments.
Oh.
And was it stressful?
Yes, I
the
have.
examinations?
Yes. In
Like,
Italy, in
how
Poland,
many attempts did you have to pass one course?
in Italy, they have 5 attempts to pass each course.
Mhm.
There are several reasons. First reason is that the courses are hard. The second reason is that there are so many students and so many courses. Sometimes you might have 2 exams at the same date and at the same time.
Yes.
So you cannot attend this exam. You need to choose which one you will skip. So that's why you have 5 attempts.
I think that's a huge problem.
Yeah. So I had to. I passed there was deep learning or machine learning course, and I passed it 26 out of 30, and I did really silly mistakes, and I was like, no, it is too low, and I did it again, and I got 20.
So you did retake?
Yeah, just because I wanted to. Yeah, you can do it in Italy.
But
you can just not accept your mark, and you can do retake.
But in Sweden, as long as you pass, you're not allowed to retake, right?
Yeah, in Sweden, in Sweden I have 1 mark, which is D out of A, B, C, D, E. That's why, because I didn't notice one task in the exam, so it was like
On the last paper.
It was like 5 sheet of papers, and I saw only first 4, and the last one I think it got stuck to the 4th one, and they didn't solve this task, and there was a lot of points, but I passed. So.
Oh, by the way, like some of the Erasmus Mundus programs contains 3 different countries.
It's crazy. I cannot imagine. Now I understand. Like in some videos about Erasmus, they were telling that some guys like they cannot go to the physics defense, or they missed like the whole semester because they didn't get visa.
Yeah,
and I was like, how? It's impossible. And I was in this situation when I waited for my resident permit for 6 months.
Let's not jinx it, because I'm in the progress of applying Finnish residence permit. I'm waiting for it, so let's not jinx it.
Okay. So
you would suggest these Erasmus Mundus programs?
I would suggest doing this, yes. Not exactly this one, the one which suits you the most. This is really nice experience. It teaches you a lot. You have to overcome so many strange difficulties, like you need to find accommodation abroad.
But that's how we grow up. That's so nice.
But in Russia, like I think in your own country you would live with your parents, or you would have so many friends.
You would just call your mom, can you help me?
Yeah, everything will be so much easier. But here, your mom cannot help you.
Yeah, because she has no idea.
She has no idea, and you are your mom now. So. Yeah, this is really interesting. It is not as I expected. I expected it to be a happy adventure of my life, like that everything will be so nice, everything will be just fun.
So fairy.
Yeah, I will learn languages. I will meet people, and I was like, I was looking at my life through the pink glasses. So, but it ended up being, I think, maybe even better, because it was true life. I had both sides of the coin. I met friends. It is so nice. It is, yeah. I really love this experience. So I would suggest doing this, but you cannot predict how it will go.
Yeah. So, like, were there any students that failed during the Erasmus Mundus so that they couldn't join the second year, for example?
Unfortunately, we had this problem, because some people got their visa to Italy really late, like at the end of November. So like they came really late and they couldn't keep up with the courses.
They missed some of the lectures.
Yeah, but all the lectures were recorded in Polemy, but not all of them were in a high quality. Not all the teachers, not all the professors used microphone, and sometimes you couldn't just hear the professor. So for them it was really hard to keep up. And they failed exams and they couldn't pass them again. But some of them managed to do this, and now they are in Finland.
I heard that some of the students gave a break for one year and they still continue.
Yeah, one student might come back next year. I don't know how it goes.
So I think it depends on your contract and on your program. As long as you let them know about your own situation, they will figure it out the solution best for you, which is really like student friendly, I would say.
Yeah, it's nice. But I would suggest you to study.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
We have a different Alisa compared to the last year or like 2 years ago.
Now I really want to go home. Before I really wanted to go to Europe to study abroad, but now I started.
It's just because you're homesick right now and you miss your husband, your parents.
Yeah, but that's how Alisa is going now. Like, this is me now. I want to go home, but maybe after 1 month I would like to find something new for me and go study again. Yeah, but now I don't know. I feel that I might be grown up a bit from 2 years before.
I think definitely, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You overcome all the problems. Can you imagine? In two different
cannot.
countries.
I cannot. It's crazy. There were so many problems. Oh, wow. Yeah, I changed.
That's so nice.
But I think I just became more adult in the way that maybe I would be less naive. I think that I was really naive person. Like, I am really naive, but I think now I might be less naive, which is good for me. It means that I become smarter in life.
Yeah, that's maybe the learning process.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
How old am I now? Now I'm 22.
In 1 month you will be in 23.
Yeah. So I was born in 2003. And I went to school 1 year earlier than everyone else. And I went to this master's right after my bachelor's. So I'm one of the youngest. But that's just how our culture in Russia goes. So it is really common to go to master's right after bachelor's. So we don't have like a gap year or something. We always study. So when here in Sweden there are people who are like 30 years old, 40 years old who started their masters.
That's me. I'm 27. I just started my master's here.
This is crazy. I don't. It's crazy.
Wait,
for me.
but I have to explain. I used to be working as a software engineer for 2 years, and then I came for my master's. I have to say this.
But I also worked for 2 years with my bachelor's.
Okay.
So there is a Reddit about Erasmus Mundus programs, and you can find all the necessary information there.
Yeah.
I think you can.
You can just go and ask questions.
Yeah. I'm not there. I don't answer questions. Sorry.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting. It was really nice. Thank you. Thank you for tea. You can stop.
We are all.
I'm red. I think I got sunburn.
Sunburn.
What should we do?
Should I stop it?
Yeah, let's make a phone.